Hey everyone. So today I've got about an hour, so I thought I'd just do a quick stream to build a tool I've been wanting to do for a while, which simply creates an app. So similar to you get create React app and the scaffolding for Vite apps where you just type in npm init, something similar to that. But of course, there are just start out templates. I want to build out my own templates over time. So I've got my tools that I like to use. So I want to basically build a tool that does that for me. And I've been thinking about this before, and I don't think, let's do create React app. I don't think I want to use npm either, because I want this to be, I guess you could use npm for anything. Yeah, you could, but I want to try using Deno just because. Why not play around with Deno a bit? So yeah, so you can do with kind of create React app and Vite and stuff. You can do things like, so there's a couple of ways of doing this. There's an npm. Let me look into this. Npm init command, which if we jump into here, you can pass it. So npm init just by itself initializes an empty node repository, and npm init initializer sets up a new package, and this initializer here basically looks for a repository. So you can see here that the initializer, there should be a package name called create-initializer, so on. And then what it does is it goes into that and it basically executes that package, which is meant to do the scaffolding for you. So if we look at create React app, well, I think it's actually got examples here. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, here we go. Right. Yeah, create React app. So it basically tells you there, if you do npm init React app, that means there's a package called create React app on npm. So if we look for npm create React app, we should find that. That's the one, create React app. And same with create, I think it's create Vite app. There we go, the same one. So as long as you run npm init React app or Vite app, I think that's going to work. Or alternatively, you can use npx and do the full npx create React app or npx create Vite app. So I'm going to do something similar with Deno. And my one's going to be probably simpler. So create React app, just kind of, you pass it through a template. Vite gives you this kind of prompt, multi-select thing to go through. So I'm going to do, well, I'll see what I can get done in an hour. First of all, I'm just going to hard code everything, and then we'll see how much we can abstract. So in theory, this should work for anything. But the ideal scenario is I'm going to have this create app repository. It's going to have my Deno script. That's fine. I can call it from directly from GitHub, wherever. And it's just going to have a bunch of directories which are my templates, and I will just select one of those templates. So that's what I'm going to do today. So the idea here is I'll have some sort of React app template with some file.txt. Let's just start off with that. I don't know why that's associated with Python, but the goal here is wherever I'm going to run a script, such as if I just open up iTerm here, if I run a script such as whatever it is, Deno something, Deno run something, whatever my file is called, and then I say React app template, I guess. Yeah, and maybe give it a name. So that's the template I want to use, and I want to do a new project, my app. This should result in a directory called my app with the React app template. Yeah, that's the goal. So let's do that. So I've got some notes here on the right hand side because I had to look into a few things to see how it worked. So I'll kind of be following some of these notes, and there's a few things I still need to figure out. So we'll do that here. Cool. So Deno. All we need to get started, Deno is a TS file. So let's just do create, and I think the convention is underscore, create app TS, and let's just console hello world. Let's just make sure all this works. And can I run this as a Deno file? No. I'm going to do, well, actually, let's just do console.log deno.orgs, and that will prompt IntelliJ so I can set this up as a Deno project. And if I do Deno run create app hello, returns hello. Perfect. If I right click this, I can just do the same here. That way I can set this up in IntelliJ. So I run it. Yeah, I can now just run it here, and I've got my configuration here. So if I can pass in arguments, I'm not sure how to pass in arguments here actually. Deno run hello. No, that's not how you do it. So look at the file. What's that running? Create app hello. Ah, okay, so that's not what I want. Okay, well, let me change this. So this is treating as the file. So create. Let's do this. Hello, something like that. Apply, run that. That looks a bit weird. Not quite sure how the. Okay, well, that's fine. We can leave the arguments out for now. I don't know how to pass in the arguments on this thing. But at least we can run it and we can figure out the arguments later on, or I can just use this guy. That's perfect. That's fine. All right, cool. So let's. First thing I want to do is I want to I'm going to be hosting this on GitHub. So I'm going to. Yes, let's take an example. So I'm going to go over to my GitHub. I'm going to pick a folder. So let's pick YouTube tutorials, this guy here. And so you can download. So I'm going to use this as an example for testing because obviously I haven't deployed this guy yet. So my goal would be, for example, to download. Imagine this is my repository of templates. Each of these are going to be my templates. My goal here is to basically get one of these directories downloaded into my folder. So, and then yeah, the logic's the same. So I think we can just use the so one of the things I looked into, so you can obviously download a zip. What I want to use from Deno is I want a tar file, not a zip file. So let's go over to Denoland and see what's going on here. So in Denoland, let's open the document standard library. I don't think they can handle, maybe there's a third-party library, but there's standard library you can tar and untar files. That's what we need. We want to untar. So if we use the tar zip, and that won't work on .zip files. The other thing I figured out here, which is there's nothing built in Deno yet that I know of that can uncompress, which causes a bit of a problem because when we download, let's go to the GitHub API. That when we download the zip folder, it's going to be a tar.gz, so it's compressed and zipped. So let's look at repositories. The problem with that is, of course, with Deno we can't unzip and uncompress. But I think I found a third-party library which I believe I can use to unzip. So I'll bring in that third-party library. And then we can just use the Deno standard library for hopefully the rest. So if I go to zip here, yeah, this is what we need here. So first I'm going to do is I'm just going to response here. I'm going to fetch this URL here. Let's close that guy. And this is going to be, the repo. I'm just going to hard code all this right now. YouTube tutorials. I think it's just YouTube tutorials, and we'll kind of abstract that out later on. Tarball, and this is the ref is going to be. I think that's the branch, so main. Let's just log out the response, make sure that actually works at all. I think I can just run this. Yes, and I need permissions. Okay. Just making sure my audio is okay. Bear with me just a moment, just while I sort out the audio here. If I can find what I'm looking for. Well, I'll leave this like that. I'll try to be a bit louder. Audio's fine. Thanks, Just Blaze. Yeah, cool. Okay, so yes, I need to pass in permissions. Allow, this is one of the good things with Deno, allow net. So let's pass in allow net there. There we go. So we've got the response. So that's all working fine. So the library, let's look at the library. So we've got this one. So we basically want to take this zip, we want to uncompress it, and then we want to unzip it. And when we unzip it, we only want the one, I guess we only want to unzip or unpack the one directory, the template. We don't want to unzip the whole thing, right? Because this could grow for a while. So if we look at, so this is fine. Yes, the third-party library that I found, which is this guy here. Denoland, it's called compress, so we can compress and decompress things basically. I think this actually also does, you know, tarring and non-tarring, etc. But I'm gonna just use this to decompress what we need. So we want gzip, and there's a few different things. You can gzip a file directly. Bytes, stream mode. We don't need stream mode. That's just if you want to get the progress. Gzip, gunzip. Yeah, gzip file. So we don't want to do a file because we're not reading in from a file, although we are getting a file over the wire. So I think we can do something along the lines of this. So let me just bring this in. I want to gunzip, and this takes in, if we go back up to gzip mod, I think it's this guy here. This takes in a uint array, an array of bytes, yes, which, so I know for, let me sort out prettier here as well. Prettier package, just so I can format things nicely. So I know that the response here, you can get a array buffer. Array buffer. Now the question is, how do I turn an array buffer? So buffer. Can I turn an array buffer? How do I get the response into a uint array? Deno buffer to uint array. And I think there definitely is a way, because I looked into, you'll see a lot of purple links here. I looked into a few of these things before. I think it was just, yeah, okay. So it was just new uint, yeah, so that should be fine. So let's do uint array, and that just takes in the array buffer, let's call that. So we now have the buffer. Now we can hopefully use this gunzip. So let's call this uncompressed or unzipped. It's not really unzipped, it's uncompressed. Or is this unzipping? Yeah, it's just, yeah, okay. I think this is fine. Unzip. Gunzip. We're taking the byte array. Yeah, it's uncompressed, decompressed. Maybe that's the right terminology. Decompressed, and we're just going to pass in the uint array. Let's just log that out. That should just look, well, just like an array of ints. In fact, what we should really see is, so this also returns a uint array, by the way. So what we should really see if we do this, let's just see if that works first. It's taking its time. Cool. So I'm going to run this again, and what we should see is 2 int arrays, but the second one should be slightly larger, I guess, because it's decompressed, right? And that's what we should see here. So that's the first one. That's, yes, yeah, okay. So that looks about right. We will find out. Cool. So now we have an uncompressed or a decompressed zip file, basically a tar file. So now what we want to do is we want to use Deno to untar that. So I can untar. This is what we want. Untar. That takes in a reader. So we need to convert this to a reader. We need to, I'm going to loop over that. We'll come back to this stuff. Let's just comment all this out. We'll log the entries. That should be fine. We'll log the entries, just see how that goes. And we want to reader.close. So we need to get the reader from somewhere. I think untar. So let's take untar. Let's take ensure file, ensure. We'll need them later on. Same with copy, actually. I'll take all of these. So I think this is fine so far. Yes, converting a uint array to a reader. So I spent a while looking for something for this earlier on, and I did figure out, but it was not particularly clear. So if I jump over to the Deno API, I think it is. So we jump over to the Deno API. Deno have got great documentation, although it's quite easy to find things for the most part. There were a few things I couldn't find, and it's probably just me, but I'll show you what I mean. So I want to take a uint array, 8 array, and convert that to a reader. I say convert to reader. I want to create a reader or a stream reader because I want to pass that reader into the untar file. Untar file, and yeah, then have access to everything. Cool. So if I look for readers here, there's a file reader, which isn't what we want. Readable stream default reader, readable stream reader. This is just yeah, typed. So this was the hard part, trying to figure out what to do here. Deno reader is an interface. You can read bytes. Why? No, there is. Const reader is equal to. Here we go. Deno buffer. This is exactly what we're looking for. So you can use a buffer, which, if we look for buffer, I think that implements reader, or that is a subclass or of reader. So if I do deno.buffer, here we go. Although that is deprecated, so we can use the buffer, but that implements reader. So now we have a reader. So we fetched the tar.gzip file. We've uncompressed or decompressed it. So we converted that. From the response, we get the array buffer. We wrap that in a uint8 array. We decompress it using this third-party library. And then from here, it's just the standard library. We're going to pop that into a reader, which is a Deno a buffer. And then we have access to all the files. And when we have access to the files, it's just a case of reading the files and just writing them to the disk. So that should be fine. We can filter out which files we want. So let's jump over here. You can see the tabs building up already, but we'll close a lot of these soon because we've got this new buffer, which is a class. Let's see how we use this. Buffer. Okay, so there's not quite an example. I know that there's a buffer Deno. Let's see how to use these buffers. Yes, so this is the one I found, I think. So yeah, perfect. You can initialize a buffer with a uint array. Okay, perfect. So what I can do in that case is I can take this and add that here. Oops. Import buffer from. So have I got any IO util? These must all be packaged in the same place. IO. So usually there's the individual ones, or you can kind of, there's usually a mod that just, yeah. So I can take this and do mod.ts and pass in the buffer there as well, I think. I'll probably do the same with fs, just to clean that up. Let me just double check that as well. I don't know if there's kind of a benefit in terms of tree shaking, right? Oh, I'm sure tree shaking happens with these, so I think it's fine to kind of group up some of these. Is there a mod here? fs/mod, maybe not. fs, let's jump into here. Oh no, there is a mod, and this just exports everything. So I can do fs mod ts and just pass in that. Does that work? I think so. So this is just showing a red line because it's not been cached locally. So let's do const reader is equal to new buffer, and we want to pass in our decompressed. And all we're doing here is then we're passing that to the untar class, and then we're just going to loop through each entry of the untar class, and that should. Can't close this. Why can't we close that? Does not exist on type buffer, but buffer implements reader, and I'm pretty sure reader. Let's see if we can find that here. Reader. Methods read. Oh, where does close come from then? Let's see if we can find a close method. F close. What's F here? That is a reader. Does reader not have a close method? Okay, well, let's see what happens if we don't close it. That might work. So let me run that again and see how we go here. Ooh, lots of errors. Nice. Okay. U time. Where's this U time? U time. Where's that coming from? Copy TS. IO mod. Let's look at this. Copy TS. Let's use utils. Do I have the wrong? So let's see. U times access tab Deno. Is that something? That's definitely not something I'm doing, but that's coming from a copy. So the question is, why is that? I'm not even calling copy file anywhere. That's odd. Let me remove this. Or is that maybe the buffer? I'm not sure where that's coming from. Okay, well, okay. So let's take away a few things because I think I did a bit too much without running this. Let's remove all these. Let's remove the. Let's go back to here and let's just see if it's a problem with the imports or if it's a problem with the maybe the buffer. No, that doesn't like that at all. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. Let's remove everything one by one. Come back here. Okay, that seems to be a bit better. It doesn't like one of my imports. Let's figure out, I assume it's the Deno import. So let's take these guys out. If this fails, then there's a problem with the buffer import. So I might put it back to what it was before. Oh no, it's not that one. It's the... Okay, so if this works, then that's an issue with the ensure file. I wonder if... No. I wonder if importing this... Because I'm not actually importing this copy function anywhere, unless it comes along with these guys. But then again, I'm not executing those anywhere either. Okay, so I'm going to put these back to what they were. So let's go back to, let's close a fair few of these tabs. Oops, one too many. Let's go back to, let's look for tar. Tar. Go into archive, and let's just they've got buffer here actually. So let's get buffer and copy from these guys. Let's get ensure dir and file from these guys. There we go. Pop that all back into place, and let's see if this works. One's a bit slow. I think this file is actually a bit big. This is, yeah, maybe I should use a different directory, but I don't think I've got any other repositories with multiple directories in them, or maybe I do, but that's not a problem. Okay, so let's get the reader, and let's just do this for now. So all this is doing is, yeah, additionally getting the reader, untiring, and logging the entries. If we can get to that point, then we've actually gotten the majority of the way, because then we just need to write the contents out to disk. And we've basically got, you know, we've got the majority of what I want working, and then it's just about how much I want to additionally abstract, etc. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's a lot of logging. Okay, yeah. So that logs every single file. It just kind of flattens them all out, and directories actually. It's giving it a, oh, it's got a funny name, doesn't it? Of course it does. Okay. So let's assume that I pass in my arguments are. Let's assume my arguments are, and I'm just going to pop this in an array because that's how they come when I run this. And I don't want to run this command line. I don't know how to set it up with this configuration. I don't want to spend any more time on that. Environment variables, maybe? No, I'll figure that out later. So let's pass in, what's the first? Bats Docker. So I want to Bats Docker. That's the template I want to use, and I want to call it. I want to call this. Let's just say I want to call it my app. So that's the two things you pass in. And in fact, so what we do, Deno's got deno.args. So this is, I'm just basically mocking that out for now. So let's just say I want to get the template and the name equals args. So I will swap this to Deno args later on. And we will default this. We might default this. We default the name actually to template. So you have to pass in a template. You don't need to pass in a name, but if you do, it will override it. So if you don't pass in a name, it's going to default to the template. That's fine. So that's going to be Bats Docker, and I guess we've provided this anyway, so that's fine. And then what we want. So what we want here is we want to check if the directory, which is entry.filename, basically includes the template with a / I guess. I don't know if there's any kind of case where it's got nested. I'm going to assume there's no nested directories with the same name, because I mean, in this case, I'm controlling it. I've got my templates. I'm just going to assume my template is my template. There's nothing else. So, and we can fix that later. So if it includes template, then we want to console log. So that should, in theory, be a lot better straight away. And then what's a case of is basically uncommenting some of this code. So if it's a directory, I want to ensure directory, just make sure it creates the directory if it doesn't exist. And then if it's a file, create the file, and you want to copy the content from the entry to the file, and that basically just writes it to disk. Right. So here I'm filtering on bats docker, and what it's got back is this full name. Bats docker, so that's the directory, and then it's got a bunch of files, bats docker file, etc. And then it's got, I guess, another directory which is the scripts, so on and so forth. That's fine. What I want is so I want to ensure there is a directory, but I don't want to ensure there is. I only want to ensure there's the. So the thing as well is I want to basically get rid of this. I want to flatten this, so I don't care about that. I do care about this file and everything under it, but I may want to rename bats docker. So let's create a function for this. So let's do const path is equal to. So this is each file name path is equal to update file name. Let's just pass in entry dot file name. Oops, I think it's my daughter trying to sneak in. So let's do file name. Actually, is update file name. So what I want to do here is this function. I want to take in this file name basically. I want to remove anything before, so I want to remove the top layers, and then I want to rename bats docker to whatever is passed in. So in this case, I want to rename that to my app, and obviously I want that to happen for every path. So let's do that. Create that function, file name, which is a string, and let's do const. So let's say template index is equal to file name. Oh, actually, what we'll do here is we'll pass in the template and the app name. Let's remove that and let's create this again. So that's a string, and that's a string. That's fine. File name's a string. So template index is going to be. So template index is going to be the file name, and we're just going to search for basically the template within the index. It definitely exists, or else it wouldn't come into here. And then we're going to use that index because we're going to say so file name without root is going to be the file name, and then we're just going to slice at the template index. So that takes, so the index will be somewhere here. So let's just say like that's 20. It's just going to slice. It's just going to take everything from here onwards. So it ignores everything else. It's meant to be template index, and then the final thing we're going to return is the file name without root, and we're just going to replace the template with the name. And I think I can just add that and just return. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So file name, we want to slice the template, and then we just want to replace it. So if I now log the file names here, just see how that comes out. It's taking its time. Here we go. So yeah, this is exactly what I want. I want my app, everything, and the rest just stay the same. Perfect. Is that all that I've got in that file? My app. Yeah, this is a pretty small file. A few test files and one script. Cool. Perfect. So, I mean, this is the majority of the work done here. Let's write these down. So if it's directory, we want to ensure there's a directory with the file name. Else we want to do this. Let's take this up and oops, there we go. So entry.filename is just going to be file name. I think that's it, to be honest. So let's bring up. I'll open this up here. So what we should be. I'm just trying to think of this. Ensure the directory. Ensure the file. Oh, well, let's give it a go and see how it goes. So what I'm going to hit play now. What this is doing is it's going to go into. It's going to fetch my YouTube tutorials. We'll change this later on, which is this guy here. I've added in an argument of bats docker, which is my template, and the name of my app. So once it fetches that, it decompresses it, and then it untars it. And let's move this function to the bottom, just so things are in order. And then what it does is it goes through all the files or all the directories and the files in the untar. And if it includes my template, what it's going to do is it's going to fix up the name, i.e. rename it and get rid of the root, and basically create those files. So let's run that, and I should see a my app. Ensure directory. I don't know where that gets. Is that just in the root? Is that just in this current directory? Maybe because it doesn't have like a / at the beginning. It's just a kind of like an absolute root. I wonder if it just. I need to allow read, and actually I think I need to allow write as well, because this creates the file, then it opens it. So let's add in allow read. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do allow all because no. Yeah, allow all just for now, because other than the one third party, this guy here, which has gone all the way down here, other than that one third party library, everything I'm importing here is my own or the standard library, so that should be fine actually. So I'm not too worried. And I could even go one step further, I think, and only allow, if I wanted to allow read and write only from the current directory, which would make sense. That might be safer as well. I might do that later on. Cool. So now I have my app, which is, yeah, this is it. This is exactly what I want. Perfect. Cool. So this is majority of the work done. How long are we doing for time? 7:15. So I want to finish up soonish. So I mean, the rest now is just a case of abstracting things and making it nice and adding templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I think I'm going to use the project. Yeah, I'm going to copy in a project as a template, and I'll just name it. I'll rename it manually. I will change this to be passed in maybe the repository, because we don't want to hard code that in, because the idea here is that anyone, in theory, anyone then can use the script just by running Deno and pointing to the pointing to the GitHub file. But then I need to change my arguments. So how do we want to do this? So ideally, what does the API look like? Ideally, we want to run, like I said, so I want to run Deno run. Let's assume it's local, or let's assume, yeah, let's assume it's local. But create app, or this could also just as well be, you know, github.com slash Redhwan Nacef slash create app slash create app.ts. All right, that's the same. I guess that's the same. So let's just assume we're running this locally. So I've installed it, I'm running it locally. So you want to do Deno run create app, or whatever it's going to be called. Allow all that, that's fine. So I want to say my username is Redhwan Nacef, or this is where to find it. I'm gonna maybe I'll add a by default, just call your by default it's create React app. Otherwise you pass in directory with your templates create app. Yeah, so by default I will assume it's so okay, so let's just say create app, and then what template do you want that Docker? What do you want to name it? My app. And this could all be, actually what I'll do is for now I'm going to just try to get this to work, and what I'll do maybe in the background or next time or at some point maybe is I'll add the prompt things, but at least this way is a good starting point that anyone could use it. So let's do this here. Let's change this. Ooh, actually you also need to do the branch. Let's do the branch as well. That's a bit of a pain, because now we've got 4 arguments. This one here would be, so it would be template, it would be repo, and you could then do let's just do keep out repo. You could, yeah, the full path. So Redhwan Nacef / something. So that's like that. Let's pop in the repo here. You need to add in the branch as well. Can I assume it's a main or a master? I wonder if the GitHub API because I wonder if we can just say, you know what, don't ignore this, just look for the main branch, because whatever default branch it is, that would be much better. Do I have a GitHub API anywhere? No. So GitHub API, what happens if well, we can actually just test it out actually. Let's do this. Redhwan Nacef / YouTube tutorials. So that works. Cancel that. Let's take away the main and see what happens. Does that work? Yeah, that does work. And the question is, what branch does that take? Does that take... I assume it takes the main branch. Yeah, I'm going to assume it takes the main branch. So we're going to go reference repositories. And we're going to go zip, download a tar file. So it's got this ref. It doesn't actually, guess if you omit the ref, the repository's default branch, usually master, will be used. Okay. Please make sure HTTP frameworks convert to the redirects location. No for private. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Perfect. So I'm going to pass in this. We pass in name, and in fact we could just end there, but we can also pass in here. So this is obviously isn't particularly great because we're passing in an array of things, but it's not that big a deal. You could pass in actual key value pairs, and you can Deno has a standard library to help you with that. You can also do some third library prompts thing where it's an interactive shell, which is also quite nice. But I think this will do for me. So if I do this, and actually let's just run it properly. Let's do deno.args template, that's fine. So we're in the repo. So now I want to run this locally. I want to do deno run create app, that's fine. And actually I'm just going to quickly do run allow all. Oops. Let's do Redhwan Nacef slash YouTube tutorials bats docker, and let's call this my app. I think that's it. Let's see how this goes. That's that done. Click over here. There we go. My app scripts. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Now, I think I'm going to kind of try wrap it up there. What I'll do is I'm going to kind of I'll push this up and just see that it all works. This is really annoying me that that's associating it with the with the Python. It's a text file. Come on, IntelliJ. Yes, let's leave it at that. Let's add a quick README. .md create app, a small tool to now download template repositories. Help easily download template repositories from GitHub. Let's just assume from GitHub. And then let's just do a quick usage. Deno run create app.ts. Let's say allow. Oh, actually depends on what you want to run. I think it's allow net. Well, I'll just say allow all. Do you need to say what you need? Let's see, because I think this needs. I think it needs allow net, allow read, and allow write. I'll keep it as allow all for now. And then we'll do. Actually, we can just copy this command here. I don't know why I'm rewriting it all out. So we do this. Usage. Well, actually, this will be an example. So let's just copy this over up here, and then let's do this repo template repo name path. Template app name. And then let's just do a quick params args just to explain these. So what is that, template repo path? I don't know what this is called, like the settings. Maybe it's here. Repository name. Well, let's just pop it here. Temporary path. The GitHub path, which is usually username / repo. Can I? Oops. Can I do this? Let's just make this a bit bigger as well. Temporary path template. So template to use. This must be a directory within the above repo. And then finally the app name, which is the name of the directory. What to name the output, or just the output directory name. Cool, I think that's fine. And the example is just like that. Cool. I think that's all right. Let's call this create app, and actually let's call this React app template my app, and we'll just call it that. So let's just I think I'm going to just kind of almost wrap it up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this up to GitHub, and I'll just try run it directly and make sure that this basically installs. And then the idea is here that I will add multiple templates. I mean, these are just going to be for me, my templates here, but you can, the way Deno works is you can use this script remotely, but you can obviously point it to wherever you want. I'm just going to happen to keep them all in the same place. So what we can do is, let me just bring up iTerm here. Let's do a git init, and let's touch a git ignore. Actually no, let's create that here, but edit it here just so. And the only thing I want to ignore really is my idea directory. Well, actually let's do the rest in IntelliJ. So that just should be a few files. That's not grouped quite the way. There we go. That's fine. So let's just check my commits message, make sure everything's fine for this new project. So let's commit this. Initialize repository with create app script and dummy template. Yeah, empty. Let's call this empty template. Cool. Let's do that. That's fine. And now let's create new repository. We'll call this create app. Create app. Public. Keep it like this. It should be fine. And just get this guy. So I much prefer using iTerm actually for these things. And then I think it's just git push, right? So let's push that up. Cool. So now we have this running. So that seems all right to me. The final thing to test out is basically, and this was the thing we wanted to do from the start, right? Is that all looking okay? Yeah. What I want to basically do is, if I am CD, let's go into my desktop. So I have some of my desktop, just a screenshot. Let's move that to my downloads for a moment. Downloads. Okay, so I have an empty desktop. So essentially what I want to run is I want to run a Deno, allow all run. I think, I wonder if this works. I want to run, allow all run. And then I want to do basically my name, Redhwan Nacef / create app. I want to do, what did I call it? React app template. React app template. I want to call it my app. Is that right? Run. Of course, that's why it didn't come up. Let's do that. Transform it to import it as module. Maybe that's not how you do it. I thought you could just run it directly like that, but maybe you can't. Oh no, it's because that's not the raw link, is it? Maybe I need to do this. Oops. I think this needs to be the raw script. That's right, yeah. So now this is doing a check. It's going to the raw script, which of course I could, put anywhere. Yeah, there we go, done. ls, my app, tree. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. That's awesome. That's perfect. Now, obviously, I need to update my templates, but now this could work. This will work anywhere. This will work for anything. If I change, oh, actually, let me try without my app. Tree. Yeah, so that's fine. And let me try, of course, YouTube tutorials, bats Docker. Let's tree this again. There we go. And I think, how do you, I can't remember, how do you download? Is it download? Deno run install. Okay, so I can Deno install this. I mean, I can install this locally as well, but if I do a Deno install, I think what that means, I can just do, no, I can't. Can I? Create app. Let's create app. Local bin, what's this? That's a Vite, the Vite one. Okay, I don't want the Vite one. But I guess similar. Create app. That's just gonna crash, right? Yeah, cool. So I need, of course, better. But I can basically now, once I've downloaded that, just means I can do this. So I just want to do create app. That's Docker test. Oh no. Create app. I don't know how to. Permission denied. Requires access to allow all. How do I? I think I need to do that when I install, right? I forget. Deno install. Allow all. That's what I need to do. Installation found. Deno install -f. So now if I do create app, test. No, that's not right. Let me just remove that actually. So let's just clear that up. Let's do Deno install, and let's just double check that I'm doing this right. Deno install, and just make sure that, because I think if I remember correctly, let's install Deno, see Deno install from our options, Deno run. No, what I want is API document manual. Install script installer. Is it script installer? Deno install. Yes, this is what I wanted. To change the executable name and serve. So I think I will do that. So what I'll do is I'm gonna create app user local bit. I'm gonna remove that actually, because that's the Vite one. I must have sourced this. Okay, so I shouldn't have any create app. Okay, I don't have a create app now, so I should be able to do Deno install, allow all. I guess I could do, that's fine, allow all, and I'll do -n create app, just like that. So now when I do create app, just need to source this again together, and finally let me create app, but I'm going to do this, run that. Again, taking its time. Oh, of course, YouTube tutorials, and then let's treat this guy. Test, perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. That's it. This guy right here, which of course you could just run now. As long as you got Deno, you can run that anywhere. That's going to work, and any directory, I mean, this is quite good. So I guess I'm going to wrap it up there. The only thing that could be nice to add is, or that I need to remember to add is, for example, for this React project, once I add it in, I'd want to change, you might want to do like post install actions, right? You might want to add, might want to change the package JSON, the application name, for example. But that's quite trivial, to be honest. I could just add that as, or keep it out, or add it as a change me or a to do in the directory, or just leave it empty. I think it will throw an error if you leave it empty. Maybe that way. Yeah, I'll figure something out there. But this is, yeah, I think this is good enough. Now it's just a case of taking a template and actually adding it in. And I need to find the perfect template. I've got a few projects that I've worked on recently that are quite good setups, but I just want to strip them down to the minimum. So for example, my React app template, I usually go for Vite. If it's a multi-page one, I'll add in React Router. So I probably want to, it's not always, if I'm just kind of hacking something very quickly, I just want a plain Vite one. If I want to do like a project where I'm doing some styling, I want to bring in Material UI, I might want to bring in React Router, these things. That's mainly what I want what wanted this for. I realized that a few times I set up a few applications. In the past few weeks I've been doing actually just lots of small applications, and each time I'd spend up to like 30-40 minutes trying to figure out how to get, or just getting the whole startup, the whole thing set up. Actually, last live stream I did, I think I spent about 30-40 minutes just setting up the basics. So that's 30-40 minutes you can save every time. And that's just kind of a good snapshot of, this is what I think the best technology for this situation is. But yeah, cool. I think I'm going to wrap up there. I think that's good progress. Yeah, thanks for everyone that tuned in, and I'll see you guys soon.